What is up? Loaded RPS content today. I don't think this channel is going to go off the air, Tyler. It's going to be like a 24-hour news network coming up. But welcome in. Welcome to Talking Touchdowns, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. If you're not a member, head on over, use that promo code NFL15. This is a fun show for us. We've already put so much Showdown content out here, but this is one where we actually review what happened yesterday. And then, of course, if we have time, we'll get Titletown's core for this evening. But let's dive right in, Tyler, because we have to be quick today. Major League Baseball show starts at 4:45. We have 1 hour. The Carolina Panthers come up short against the New York Giants. And Tyler, I like to ask provocative questions here. Not much to say about these games. So my question will be, are the New York Giants the worst 2-0 team in the last 20 years?
I mean, very good possibility about that. I'd have to go back through and look at all the 2-0 teams in the last 20 years. But, I mean, that team's bad, but the coaching staff's putting together some games where they're winning. So we still haven't seen their first-round pick, Thibodeau, on the field yet. And a pass rusher like that could change the game spread. And in a weak NFC, certain things might not surprise us at the end of the year if they're like 9-8 and they sneak into the playoffs.
All right, we will see. Title, we're going quick. We're going efficient today. Main takeaway from the Giants and the Panthers for me is that the Giants might be the worst 2-0 team in the last 20 years. What are your thoughts on the Giants and the Panthers, Title?
Definitely the worst 2-0 team in the last 20 years. 100% agree with that. McCaffrey, how many times he touched the ball? 15 carries and 4 catches. 25, 30 minimum a game. What I say last week, you lose the game by 5, or what Ryan Harris said with Big T, lose the game by 5. It's on the coaches. Yep, it's on the coaches. Got to give McCaffrey the ball.
Yeah, Matt Rule's definitely on the hot seat in Carolina. Let's move on to one of the few games I got right, Tyler. It was a rough day for your guy yesterday, but the Jacksonville Jaguars did come through. Not only did they covered the spread. They won the game outright. And then they gave the Colts a shutout, man. Talk about hot seats. Frank Reich is also there. Matt Ryan looks absolutely dusted. And, hey, there's some hope in Jacksonville. You get this great quarterback prospect and a great quarterback coach in Doug Peterson. I liked what I saw from the Jaguars, and I'm ready to put some more dirt on the Colts and this dusty quarterback. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, that was a terrible showing from the Colts, and they didn't let Jonathan Taylor touch the ball really in the first half. He had 6 carries for 9 yards at halftime. That isn't going to cut it. You got to get him more touches. And that Colts team, they should have fired the whole coaching staff before they left the field. That was terrible.
Title, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, said it last week, Matt Ryan is still a quarterback in 2022, and I mean, that's going to happen when Matt Ryan's your quarterback back there. Super Bowl team with Super Bowl roster with Super Bowl aspirations, and you thought getting Matt Ryan was the answer. That starts up top, and a lot of things have to change. Because, you talk about the Jonathan Taylor, same thing about McCaffrey. You're not winning football games, not getting your best player the ball, and having Matt Ryan drop back that much. So, if you're a Colts fan, man, I'd rather have Wentz, and you saw how that worked last year as well.
Yeah, you got to be disappointed for the Colts. It was nice for me to get that one right, and I hope the Jacksonville Jaguars can do something with Trevor Lawrence's career, because it'd be quite the shame to waste a guy of that talent and ability. Let's go into one of the surprises. All right, I'll take my L. I'm surprised the chat's not here to victory lap me on this one, because the Miami Dolphins got it done against the Baltimore Ravens. And Title, I made the mistake of counting my money there at halftime. When the Ravens were up 3 touchdowns, I said, okay, I got this game right. Lamar's the man. Tua's not at that level yet. McDaniels proved he was a great coach, making those great adjustments, and the general manager did a great job getting him all those weapons, man. I know it's going to be nothing but praise, but overall, your takeaways on how much we upgrade the Dolphins and how much do we downgrade the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, that shows how good of a head coach, like how much coaches matter in this league. I mean, a lot of those teams fold at that spot. And, I mean, when you have Waddle and Tyreek, you get those guys in space, you get them the ball, the yards after catch monsters. I mean, you just got to get them in space, and they'll figure out the rest. Tua, I mean, yeah, that's what happens when you get him a good coach, when you get him weapons around him. Dolphins look good. I mean, but the Ravens blew this game at the end of the day. I mean, they had it. You were counting your money. It's hard to argue that. It's tough to count your money against this Dolphins team. I mean, with Waddle, with Tyreek, or the playmakers they have and the big plays. But you just can't let up the big plays when you're up that much. Offense gets a little stagnant. Yeah, I mean, great win for the Dolphins, kind of tough for the Ravens. But if you're the Ravens, like the offense did their job, defense you got to be a little concerned with. Miami's going to be a great team, though, or a good team, a tough out for anybody every single week because, man, this is not the same Miami team in the past. Waddle, Tyreek, you get those guys the ball. It's all you really need in the NFL. I mean, those guys are complete studs. They changed the whole game. So hard to argue you were counting your money spread, coaching, defense. You got to win that football game for the Ravens. But what a fun one that was to watch.
Yeah, you know, of all the bets I lost yesterday, that one didn't feel too bad because I'm rooting for those guys, and I hope McDaniel does really well. I hope I continue to take the L. I'm worried about his coaching ability. Tyler, we're going to do the power rankings tomorrow, but what do you think we're going to be doing with each one of these teams? I know that we're going to upgrade Miami, or at least I am. What are you thinking about the Baltimore Ravens? What did you think of this loss?
Yeah, I mean, I don't take much of it. I think Miami's a really good team. Tua's finally got weapons around him and a great coach. They pulled off that win. We got to start showing my guy some love spread. Remember, we were trying to throw him down the drain.
Yeah,
he's playing better now. He leads the league in yards, completions, tied for touchdowns.
And he did it in Baltimore against the defense.
His MVP number's down to 18-1 too. So that was 50-1 preseason. But I think I found a better
MVP. Let's not go too.
No,
far.
but look, I think I found a better look. He's
okay.
He's 20-1 to lead the league in yards. If those two receivers stay healthy, he's going to be up there.
Especially if they keep playing fast like that too.
Yeah, and I think McDaniel will keep them playing fast like that. So yeah,
I like that a lot better. Than
I don't knock Baltimore down much. They were down their 4 starting corners. Like all 4 of their guys on the depth chart were all out of that game. So their secondary, they held up for 3.5 quarters, and then all hell broke loose in the 4th quarter. So I don't take
deja vu all over again for the Ravens, right? So that's going to be rough. Let's talk about another AFC North team that disappointed me, Tyler. My guy Mike Tomlin could not teach the guy how to I don't even know his name that fumbled the punt return, and to me, I felt like that was the turning point of the game. Regardless,
the Patriots old dude, right? Well, chefs, whatever the dude's name is.
Is that who it is? I don't even know. So, boy, I can't. I'm really disappointed there. Trubisky is not the answer. They need to go to Pickett. They should have already gone to him at halftime. So I don't know what's going to go on with Pittsburgh. Tomlin will find a way to make this team reasonable, but really not a lot of high expectations. Do we upgrade the Patriots? This is 2 good defensive performances from this team, and now watching Miami against Baltimore, you have to say, hey, maybe this Patriots defense is better than I was giving credit for. What do you think, Tyler?
No, the Steelers are cheeks. Patriots aren't great either. They won 17-14 in the game. They should have won. No, TJ Watt. Like TJ Watt's in this game, Steelers probably win at the end of the day. I don't even know if they put up 17 points. Yeah, the gunner dude, the old Patriot, that fumble, it changed the whole game as well. I agree, though. Trubisky, I mean, we know what Trubisky is at the end of the day. Why is he getting a crack at this? Get in Pickett, let him get going, let him see what you got in him. But no, I don't. Pittsburgh, no good, not upgrading these Patriots because they beat them.
Tyler, what are the Yinzers saying?
They want Pickett bad. You didn't hear him chanting it on the TV?
Yeah, Trubisky heard it too.
I agree.
Yeah, they've been chanting it. They're going to chant it forever. I still say one of the worst things they did was draft him because you drafted the hometown kid. They were going to want him from day one. And behind this offensive line, even if he goes out there, I don't think they're much better. And just like Title said, TJ Watt plays in this game, they probably win. So I don't upgrade New England at all. This was 2 bad teams on the field on Sunday.
All right. I say give them a shot. I mean, you already know you're going to be crappy under Mitch. At least there's a chance you could be good.
The one difference would be Pickett would probably air it out a little bit more to where Mitch won't take these deep throws. Like Pickens is running down the field wide open, our rookie receiver.
Yeah.
And Mitch just will not take that shot and let him get that chance to catch that deep ball.
Let's bring the kid in, give Pickens some opportunities. That could be fun. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. Another one, Title. Counting my money. 2 minutes to go. Up by 7. Laid the 6.5, right? Faded Flacco. Kareem Hunt, if he doesn't go out of bounds, I get it. If Chubb kneels on the goal line instead of pushing them up, what should have been 14 would end up being 13 because the kicker we all said was the greatest 4th-round draft pick after week 1 ends up missing. Regardless, the Browns had a 99% win percentage with less than 2 minutes to go. One of the worst collapses that I've seen, and I know I don't like hyperbole because I'm the old guy. I want to say have a sense of history. But going through it seems like a lot of these statistical guys agreed that they had never seen anything this bad. I have a friend, Title, that is from Sacramento that flew out to Cleveland because he's a Browns fan to watch that game. I mean, can you imagine? It's
that
so
flight
terrible.
home can't be great.
Unbelievable there. The Jets get it done. I'm not downgrading the Jets. I mean, I'm not upgrading the Jets, whatever. The Browns, I might have to downgrade, and everyone told me you can't lay 6.5%. And for 58 minutes, I was ready to rub it in their nose, and instead, I'm the one with my face in the dirt. Title takeaway from the Browns and the Jets.
Well, first, I do want to piggyback on what Joey Work said in chat. Tyler's new setup, first thing I noticed, you're looking smooth. That camera's looking great. The hat's
Appreciate
up there.
It, fellas.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Joey Work. Yeah, I'm not upgrading these Jets. It was nice to see Garrett Wilson get involved. Selfishly for my best ball, kind of. But, man, these Jets, what's their ceiling, though? Like, how do you upgrade them too much? And as far as these Browns, yeah, I mean, numbers don't lie, Spread, like you said. You watch way more football, basketball, all that stuff, that the worst beats and stuff. When you're 99% to win, you're 99% to win. I mean, you can't get worse than that. The onside kick, all of that. The thing that stands out to me, though, again, you lose by 1. You look at the coaches. Nick Chubb only ran the ball 17 times. Get him 25, 30 carries. You're not even in that spot. So, yeah, I mean, bad for the Browns. You can't lose that game. Jets, yeah, you got lucky, but it is what it is. Two teams I'm not really – don't have too much of a hope for when it comes to playoff time.
Tyler, the Browns secondary sucks. If Myles Garrett and company don't get pressure, they're getting carved apart. What do we do with this Browns team on our rankings?
No, I mean, I'd say they're still middle of the pack because they still have the run game and still have the pass rush. Once Watson comes back, like, they might take the giant step forward. But with Jacoby Brissett under center, like, your offense is pretty limited. So I think that's another factor in their secondary being carved up. They're just on the field too much. So once they get their quarterback back, I think they'll be all right. But as of right now, I'd still leave them like middle of the pack. They're right in that same bunch with Pittsburgh and New England, but I'd say they're the first team that would come up on the list of power rankings out of those 3.
They just got to give themselves a chance with their record when come Watson time. Because I agree, but if you're 3 games below 500, I mean, you can't do stuff. So that's what you can't lose those games if you want to make the playoffs.
Did you guys see the thing where there was a minute and 51 seconds left when Chubb punched in that second touchdown? And last year when he had that long run where he ran out of bounds,
he kneeled.
And then they kneeled it out and won. Well, the Jets had no timeouts left with a minute 51. That was a first down run.
Yeah, that's what
if he falls on the ground, they kneel the ball out and win. He doesn't. Look what happens. So,
I mean, I'm so upset about all the money that I lost yesterday. And on that one, I still don't even think it was a bad pick. Like, I'm not adjusting my process. Like, on the Steelers, I could say, boy, you bet on Mitch Trubisky. Like, you suck. Well, actually, that one pushed. They were +3 by the time I bought it. But regardless, I really felt like I was on the right side there. And I really – the fact that I'm not victory lapping that today is still a punch in the gut right now.
There's a reason the casinos are all above you in Vegas. That you have a place to stay and stuff, Spread. They find ways to win those games.
Yeah, that's true. But speaking of getting punched in the gut, there was some punching going on when the Buccaneers played the Saints. Buccaneers prevail 20-10. Jameis Winston should not have been on the field. Hey, that's great. That's gutsy. He might have hurt the team out there. That was my main takeaway from the game, and both these defenses are really good. Tyler, what were your thoughts on the Buccaneers defeating the Saints?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to win football games when you have 3 points almost all game and you can't move the football when you're the Saints. Saints defense did everything they could. Leonard Fournette was bottled up all game. I mean, how often do you see in the NFL 24 carries for 65 yards, 2.7 yards a carry? Like, the Saints did everything they could. Mike Evans, I mean, I don't know. Tom Brady might be happy. You can't lose your cool on that. I don't know. Some in the background, I don't know if you hear that. Spread it. Might be
my gosh. Yeah, I'll be right back. You break this game down now. Break this down. I'll be right back.
All right, break it down, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, this game for me was just basically without Jameis being able to put points on the board, just like you said, 4 fractures in his back. And Kamara being out too, I think was big to hold their offense back.
Definitely.
Olave is going to explode one of these games for one of those Deshaun Jackson stat lines, like 3 catches, $150, and 2 touchdowns. I think they said he leads the league in air yards. He's at like 21.6. He just hasn't been able to reel them in yet. So once those start to turn into catches, he's going to be a stud, and he's going to bring in some ton of points in fantasy. So I'd keep an eye on him for one of those weeks. But it's going to be one of them things like you try and pinpoint it, and you get it right one week, and you get it wrong 8 weeks in a row. So you got to hope it works that one week.
No, I'm 100. I saw all those air yard stats as well. A lot of people on Twitter do this stuff. And, yeah, I mean, he's a total stud. If you get into football, yeah, I'm definitely going to be on him a lot. He can break a DFS slate. He's going to be low owned. But, hey, he could definitely bust 8 weeks. But that 1 week, it's not about how often you win. It's about when you win, how much you win. And he definitely has that ceiling. So I like it. Spread looks like you're back.
The other thing, too, is like with Watson or with Winston having those 4 fractures in his back, any chance you would go to Andy Dalton to give him some time to rest that?
Yes.
Dalton's not the worst backup, you know what I mean? In a nice system with Kamara, some receivers, great.
You can't do worse than what Jameis did last week. So yeah,
like you got to. If he's going to be that bad, you got to get somebody else in there to get him some time off.
All right. Some of the games I lost yesterday, I'm saying, hey, I was on the right side. That was bad luck. Not this next one. The Washington Commanders couldn't get it done. Carson Wentz strikes again. Lions win 36-27. Offense looked fantastic. St. Brown breaks the slate. What were your thoughts on the Commanders and the Lions? Start with you, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, it went the way I thought. I was on the Lions in that game, and they kind of steamrolled them until the end when Washington decided they were going to try and come back. They still really didn't use Scary Terry as much as I thought they would. They kind of likes Curtis Samuel more out there. And Gibson doesn't look half bad, but we all know when Brian Robinson gets back, he's taking that job. And as for the other side of the ball, I mean, Swift at 100%, he's got to be like a top 5 back in the league at this point, right? I mean, that guy he's one of them guys that didn't look really good in college. But we knew he'd be solid. And then he got to the NFL, and it's almost like he's better in the NFL. And then another thing we got to keep an eye on for props and for DFS, I think, title. Washington 2 weeks in a row tried to cover slot receivers with linebackers. They did it with Christian Kirk. They did it with Amon St. Brown. We've seen how both of those games went. So whoever's playing slot for Philly next week, definitely keep an eye on that because that guy's probably going to eat them up.
I like that.
What you got for that game title?
Amon St. Brown's a freaking stud. I mean, that dude is a total stud. DeAndre Swift, man, as long as he's 100%, which, yeah, he wasn't going into that game. You could tell by or you couldn't tell when he did get the touches, but he didn't get too many touches. Lions are tough, man. I mean, I've always kind of been a fan of Goff. Like, he's a solid quarterback at the end of the day. Now you got him on St. Brown. You have TJ Hawkinson, DJ Chark. Like, the Lions are doing things right. Defense, yeah. I mean, they're going to have to play a little better. They played good to start the game, though. I mean, they had a good game at the end of the day. They got pressure to the quarterback. Washington, I don't know how great their offense is. They have playmakers as well, but this Lions team is not the same Lions team as it has been in the past. And you love the head coach. You love Campbell. Spread. They always fight till the end. This team's a tough out, man.
All right. Speaking of fighting till the end, the Rams get the win, bounce back, but do not cover the spread against the Falcons, who win the fourth quarter 17-3 to grab that backdoor cover. Very popular bet this week was the Falcons. Fortunately for me, I said I wanted the Rams if it got to 9.5. It never got there, so I was able to lay off, but I was definitely on the wrong side because in the pick 'em pool, I had the Rams -10. Looked like the right side for the first 3 quarters, but with those huge spreads, that backdoor is always open. What did you think about that game, Tyler? The Falcons almost keep, getting it done against the Rams.
I hope we can keep getting them at double digits because this team's going to be a pain in the ass for everybody that plays them. Like, how do you line up and match up and cover guys like Drake London, Kyle Pitts? You got a wide receiver playing running back and a mobile quarterback. Like, I don't think there's going to be a team with a good defense that's going to be able to, like, shut this team out all year. Just because even when you cover the receivers down the field, like you stop the run and Mariota's dropping back, he can scramble for the first down. Now he's just chewing up yards on you. They're going to put up junk points on you also. And their defense is bad, but it's not as bad as some of these other units. So keep giving me them at double digits, and I'm going to keep playing them. They're going to be that underdog, I think, all year that just kills it against the spread.
Tyler likes these Falcons to have a pretty good offense. Tyler, what were your takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that. Drake London, stud. Kyle Pitts, stud. Matchup problems for everyone. Cordell Patterson runs hard. Mariota, a running quarterback. Now, this game, I mean, the Rams, they fell apart in the fourth quarter. Very, very bad. The fumbles, the block kick for the touchdown. Like, the Rams, I thought, were the right side for sure. If they lost that game, man, it would have been tough. It was hard to take away too much. So, yeah, the Falcons are exciting, especially for DFS. If Pitts is going to keep dudding, one of these weeks he's gonna get there, and he's really cheap on FanDuel. Thankfully, I didn't play him this week. But, man, he's so tempting. And Drake London's really good, man, and this Cordell Patterson. So totally agree with Tyler with the Falcons, but man, the final score doesn't show how this game really went. Like the Rams were in control and they let their foot off the gas.
I'll tell you when Kyle Pitts is going to explode, Title. It's going to be when every team finally looks away from him and the initial game plan isn't for him, and it's for Drake London. Once
which might be
apart,
soon.
Yeah, once he's eating teams apart, they're like, well, we got to pay attention to him more, and then there goes Kyle Pitts down the seam.
Yeah, I mean, 2 for 19 again, like so disappointing.
Speaking of disappointing, Title, I was watching the game with my buddies yesterday, a bunch of 49ers fans there. You should imagine my shock when they're all disappointed when they got an upgrade in the quarterback in the middle of the game. If you bet on the Seahawks, you should get your money back because you're fading Carson Wentz 2.0. The next coming to Carson Wentz wasn't able to materialize in San Francisco. And I told you guys, he runs like Tim Tebow. He doesn't move side to side at all. He takes way too many hits. And what a surprise. He's played like 4 games and he's got injured twice. A blessing in disguise. The 49ers get a true leader back. Did you see those guys picking him up? They were so happy to have a winner back out on the field with them. They said, we're not wasting money at strip clubs anymore. We're actually going to go bang these porn stars with this guy as the head of our team. Jimmy G is back. The Niners are a real Super Bowl contender again. What were your thoughts, Title?
Well, I mean, before Lance got hurt, what did he do? Drive him down the field like every single time he had the ball? I mean, we're talking about the Seahawks after all. Jimmy G ain't winning no Super Bowl. I'll tell you that for free right now. So, yeah, I mean, I will say, though, the 49ers players, like, there's reports that said, like, they were happy. I mean, this team wanted, or a lot of the players wanted Jimmy G, it sounds like. And, I mean, how do you argue that? The success he's had in the past, he gets the ball to his playmakers more. So maybe it is a boost maybe for the 49ers team. DFS-wise, I love the Lance. I'm not going to get to Jimmy G. But I'm not saying this team's going to be Super Bowl contention or something. People will for sure. They get the defense, Debo, all that. But I'm not buying Jimmy. I'm not buying Jimmy G leading the team to the Super Bowl.
And Joey's saying I'm beating them while they're down. This is one of the few victory laps I get to take, Joey. After all my results yesterday, this is one of the few ones I got. But Tyler, you know I'm been a big Jimmy Garoppolo fan. It's like he sucks at all the statistics for DFS. Too bad they don't have win percentage there. Because then he would be an absolute stud for DFS. All this guy does is get things done. And never before has a team tried to develop a quarterback with a Super Bowl winning roster. It was just a mistake. It shows that this front office and the coaching staff's not on the same page. So what does Kyle do? He calls up his dad. He says, hey, Dad, when you wanted Kirk Cousins to play, but you had RG3, what'd you do? He goes, just run him into the ground, son. Kyle said, got it. Let me get my guy back out there. Let me get a guy that's going to play within the system and can do more than one read. Jimmy G is back, and the Niners are on the winning track. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they both had this, like, phone call where, like, they told RG3 to, like, dive with his knee out so it could bend backwards, or for Trey Lance's ankle to snap backwards either. So that I don't know if that was on the call, but yeah, freak injuries happen. The 49ers are probably in a better place now with Jimmy G under center with the way they're constructed. Like now they probably win that division with how the Rams look because I think the Rams trip over their feet the rest of the season if they're going to do that in games. And after what we've seen week 1 also, it was the Bills, but they didn't even put up a fight. So I'd say the 49ers are probably the favorite to win this division now. But come playoffs, like, yeah, they might make the NFC Championship, but I don't see them making the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, yeah, that was just my one little victory up I wanted to do. I was happy to see my guy back.
The other thing, too, like Title said, it's Seattle. Like, we could have, all three of us could have let him up and down the field at quarterback.
Russell Wilson couldn't do it. And you told me Russell Wilson going to Denver was going to make him the Super Bowl team.
We'll get to that.
Well, Lance was doing it before he got hurt, so.
Yeah, I know. And hey, you know, it is too bad. I just thought it was a mistake to bring in a guy that's going to need so much development. For
I felt like they just felt like they needed. I mean, that's what happens when you reach it and you draft someone that high. Like you have so much stock. Thankfully, the Packers didn't make the mistake with Love, and Rodgers came back. But like when you reach that far, like you almost feel like you need to prove it, like that this pick was worth it. So I get it for sure, but I get it.
And when our guy Kyle, the DFS Bachelor, came on, he said that the 49ers' original plan was to move up to get that pick to trade for Deshaun Watson. And then all the allegations came out, and they're just like, uh-oh. But it wasn't like, you know, that they wanted a rookie quarterback with that roster. They thought well, this number 3, the Texans won't be able to turn us down. So that could have been the case as well. But anyways, that was a rough spot. All right, you want to go to what's really upsetting me? As tough it was for the Browns to lose, I deserve that for losing the Browns. I'm just going to talk.
I know where this is going.
Me too.
Yeah. Can you believe this team blew this game against Kyler Murray? You let Kyler unbelievable. I'm so pissed. Josh McDaniels, oh my, just take it away, Title. I'll have something to say when it comes back to me.
Well, I mean, Devontae is 2 for 12, and your leading receiver is Matt Collins. Like, I mean, you already should have won that game, but even like, what's going on? I mean, how does Kyler Murray have 20 seconds to dance around to get that 2-point? I mean, the whole thing was just, I was in shock. I mean, the announcers were the same thing. It was just like the Rams Falcons game. Like the announcers in both the games, like they're already telling stories. Like they're so checked out of the game, they already think it's over. And next thing you know, teams are about to lose. And yeah, I mean, how do the Raiders lose that football game, man? They're the way better team in every aspect. Max Crosby was getting after Kyler Murray for the first 3 quarters. I mean, everything was looking good until it wasn't. So I don't know, man. I don't know how you lost that game. I feel for you.
Tyler, what do I do, man? I'm almost out on Josh McDaniels, right? He kind of sucked with the Broncos. And who's been good out of this Belichick tree? You could say Vrabel, but he didn't actually even coach under him. He was just a middle linebacker and the captain of the defense under him. Every other guy's failed when they've left Belichick. Now we got McDaniels. 2 weeks ago, I was so excited for this team. Now I am feeling depressed. Talk me out of it, Tyler.
I don't know if I can talk you out of it.
It's hard.
Yeah, you look at the division they're in, it's like, oh, damn, they lose that game too, and they should have won it. Now, like, that really puts them behind the driver's seat. It's like, this is bad. Like, I'd probably, like, I'm not going to say I'm out on them already. It's 2 weeks, but that was a terrible way to blow that game. Like, and you knew it at the end of the game because they worked it down the field this way on multiple 4th downs. Why wasn't there a quarterback spy on Kyler so he couldn't run that touchdown in?
I just don't think we have a linebacker athletic enough to pull it off.
Put a safety on him.
Yeah, like, put someone that is athletic enough.
Take somebody off the field, a D lineman, somebody, and put another safety on the field to get in front of him. Because if you stop him from running the ball, he couldn't get anybody open in the back. You seen that 2-point conversion he had to throw. He had to thread the needle to get it there. So you should have had an extra safety on the field playing spy. But this is the Raiders we're talking about. They were going to finish 4th in the division anyway. You might as well get a good draft pick out of it, right?
I mean, I had hopes for him. But Devontae 2 for 12. Like, you ain't winning football games with Devontae.
Let's trade Derek Carr and Devontae to the Colts. We're not going to win this division.
No, anyway. So send them back to the Packers. Rodgers needs them. Send them back.
I'm out on Derek Carr. You've been a pro Derek Carr guy, and I've been pro Derek Carr since 2014. But yesterday might have been my tipping point, man. I think it's time to move on from this guy. He can only work in a system where everything's right, like that Niners system where everyone else is good. He's not going to carry this patchwork roster that John Gruden pretty much destroyed with him and Mayock. What do you think, Title? I'm done with Derek Carr. What do you think?
No, I'm still lying with Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr.
I'll get into it after yours.
He didn't. Derek Carr was not the reason you lost that game.
Yeah, the weak unit on that team is the defense, Fred. Your offense is fine.
23 points against that defense?
I mean, they ran
44.
They should have ran it more towards the end of the game and just sat on the lead and put the
offense was off the field so much too, and then you get the fumbles and stuff. Like,
yeah, like you can't really blame Hunter Renfrow for fumbling that ball when he got hit by a missile.
I bet you if Jimmy G was his quarterback, he would have fumbled.
I bet you he would have getting hit by that missile.
Tight.
Jimmy G's in that game. You guys lose by 18.
Yeah, I was about to say Isaiah Simmons was flying like a goddamn missile when he hit Hunter Renfrow on that last play.
Yeah, that wasn't his fault.
And
you're saying Derek Carr can't lead this team. You think Jimmy G on the Raiders? You think he's going to lead this squad?
Yeah, I think him being. I think when you know that like your quarterback is just an absolute stud and he's not like banging porn stars, like I think it just makes you feel better. Like you're like, this guy's a leader. Like Sunday morning, he's waking up with.
Fred, he plays for the 49ers, who comforted him with a nice, beautiful run game. You guys don't have a run game.
I don't know. Josh Jacobs looked pretty good when McDaniels figured out.
And what happened once they got that 23-0 lead? They stopped running the goddamn ball.
Well, like I said, we also have.
You gonna do that with Jimmy G?
Yeah,
let him air it out. Let Jimmy cook.
Spread literally just said Derek Carr doesn't have the luxury of having the 49ers team around him.
Yeah.
And now he's circling.
I'm mad. Okay, this is the Monday overreaction show, right? We'll get back to being on Friday when we're giving out our picks. And I'm not even saying I won't pick the Raiders again, right? Because they're a good, talented team and they're going to match up against certain teams well. But when you're looking at the direction of the franchise as a fan, all right. But enough of my team. So disappointed. But are we as disappointed as the Cincinnati Bengals are going 0-2? First time a team has been 7-point favorites and lost their first two games coming off the Super Bowl there. Things aren't looking good in Cincinnati. They did what it seemed to be in the offseason to fix this offensive line, but the offensive line is not fixed. They let Cooper Rush beat them. Bengals, they got to be in a state of shock too. Title, what happens with Cincinnati? How do we approach this team next week?
I have no clue how you approach this team. I mean, play him in DFS because I guess every game is going to be close. Like, the reason not to play Chase and Higgins was because you just thought they'd blow out the Cowboys and wouldn't be throwing in the fourth quarter. Cooper Rush is beating you, man. You got issues. I don't know what's going on with the Bengals. I'm definitely concerned. And, I mean, I can't really bump up the Cowboys too much. I mean, I was saying they're the worst team last week after Dak, so I can't – I mean, I'll bump them a little bit, but the Bengals, you got to be concerned. I want to hear what you two got to say. I mean, how do you lose – I'm still in shock. Like, how do you lose that football game?
What do you think, Tyler?
They pulled the Steelers and they played down to their competition and they just blew the game. I'm not as worried as you are because we seen Kansas City patch their line all together last year. In the first 3 weeks of the season, we wanted to throw them down the drain. Their lines just got to get chemistry. Like, come week 10, it wouldn't surprise me if Burrow's got like 3 seconds to throw the ball every time. And now it's like, oh, he's just launching the ball down the field, 500 yards a game, 5 touchdowns. Chase is back to lighting them up. So I'm not taking much out of it, but their defense being on the field a little bit too much, but that could just be the cause of the offense. But I think they'll be all right. They'll still be a playoff team. They're definitely going to get the wild card because I think the Ravens take the division, but I think they'll be fine. Give that offensive line some time.
They do have the Steelers and the Browns, so they have that going for them at least.
Yeah, they have one team to beat in their division, so they'll be all right.
Hey, Pickett gets in there. That Steelers team might turn themselves around. But I agree with you, man. I'm not as worried about this team. Burrow missed a lot of time with that appendectomy, whatever, he didn't have a lot of time. And we know he's a stud, right? Like Derek Carr, we know what his ceiling is. Burrow's ceiling is potential league MVP one day. So not as worried about the Bengals, but definitely a disappointing performance for Cincinnati and their fans. But talk about disappointing. Tyler, I told you, and I said about 2 coaches, right? So I'm not going to say that I'm this coach whisperer, right? But I say with McDaniel, who ended up being, proving me wrong, or Hackett, who's now proving me right. When these new coaches that are these genius offensive coordinators, these genius play designers come in, it's not always an upgrade. It's not always an upgrade. And maybe this guy's ceiling is just a great play caller and a great quarterback coach and a guy that's really good with the offense. But right now he seems completely overmatched at managing the game. And if you've heard anything, right, all the mistakes, not putting a punt returner out there, that 3rd and 1 debacle where they should have been a field goal turns into a punt. This team is clearly not prepared. And Russell Wilson looks absolutely terrible. Tyler, you were high on the Broncos. This is the other victory lap I get to get. Even though they got a win, you still got to downgrade this team. Things aren't looking good in Denver, Tyler. Tell me how Hackett's going to turn things around because this is the worst coaching start we've seen. And like I said, I'm not prone to hyperbole, but I can't remember anything this bad. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
I don't know how he turns it around, Spread. I mean, those are some of the worst calls I've seen in a while, too. But, again, this team's built pretty nice. Like, Russ doesn't look all that good, but, like, that could also be a cause of this offense he's playing in. The run game's still there. Their defense is pretty solid. Like, would it surprise you if they stumbled over their feet to 10-6 or 10-7?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I'm with Tyler.
With the schedule, when you look at their schedule, they could easily get to 10 wins and still look like one of the worst teams, and then we're fading them in wild cards. So that could be the way to look at this team. But I'm worried about them. They're definitely not a Super Bowl contender, but I think they still make the playoffs.
All right. I'm not.
I would fire Hackett after the year.
Let us know why,
unless
Tyler. You're high on this team. I'm not. I'm ready to. Coaching matters so much, right? Quarterback's most important. Coach is second most important. And you got a guy that, man, might be completely out of his league. I mean, this is maybe Adam Gase would be someone comparable as this bad. Although it even seemed like his in-game decisions weren't this bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily high on the. So they lost Judy really early. They lost Patrick Surtain early, two of their best players, which you have to take into account. You got to get Javonte Williams the ball more than 15 times. Melvin Gordon's been fine, but he's got to be 80-20 Javonte Williams. I mean, the dude's a stud. But yeah, with Hackett, I mean, who was he the offensive coordinator for? Who did he look like such a genius calling plays for? I mean, it's Aaron
That's
Rodgers.
why I did the Adam Gase, right? Because who Peyton Manning made Adam Gase's legend. Now you got Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, boy, not too tough to get that guy to look good, right?
Exactly. And the same thing with Mike McCarthy and stuff. Like, I'm not even going to give him all the props in the world in Green Bay that he looked like that guy, because it's hard to tell when you got Aaron Rodgers where he doesn't like the play. He'll check it himself and run a new play. Like, that's not the OC at all. But he's cheeks. Like, the dude does not know how to coach football games at the end of the day. Like, all these decisions, like, what are you doing, man? So yeah, I mean, the ceiling is capped with Hackett unless someone teaches him how to coach football games, someone else takes over. But the roster, like, if Judy X-rays were negative, he's day-to-day, that's a big sign. Surtain gets back in there. Like I said, the two best players, you lose them in the first quarter. I mean, it is a little more difficult.
Judy's better than Russell Wilson?
Well, I mean, he was their number one weapon.
Courtland Sutton even? I mean, is he even better than Courtland Sutton?
I mean, I think so. But I mean, it's still like you don't just having Court. So you look at outside of Courtland Sutton, who was their second leading receiver? Tyree Cleveland. Third guy, Eric Saubert, Kendall Hinton. Like, you lose Judy, you got absolutely nobody behind him. That's why he's so big.
They were already down KJ Hamler before the game started, too.
And Tim Patrick.
Tim Patrick was out before the season.
I mean, you lose. So you have nobody out behind Sutton at the end of the day. I mean, Albert O had you got to get him involved a little bit, but so that's why Judy means so much for Wilson. But no, I mean, Hackett, it's a problem. They have the defense, they have the running game, like, they have the pieces. Coach a better football game, you're 2-0 right here, and I think the talks are a little different. But yeah, I mean, I'm concerned.
All right, this Monday Overreaction show is brought to you by runpuresports.com. If you're not already a member, head on over. Use that promo code NFL15 to join the team. Get access to all the premium content, including premium videos, cores, playbooks, and all the breakdowns, and access to Titletown in the Discord. Give us a like. Share the video with your friends. Give us a retweet. Come on, help us out. We're overreacting here, melting down. By Friday, we'll be back to our regular level-headed selves. One game that I don't feel like overreacting to, because this is twice this week that I've gotten at 4 a.m. On Sunday, and I'm falling asleep during the middle of the game. But I woke up and saw that the Packers got it done. They covered the spread against the Bears. Bears have a really bad roster. I feel bad for Justin Fields. I think he's kind of getting a raw deal. Tyler says he's an Ohio State quarterback. He would suck no matter where he went. Where do you fall on this title?
Yeah, I mean, there's when St. Brown and Mickens, I can't even say his first name. Equanimus. I mean, he was an ex-Packer, and he caught the ball with his face more than he caught it with his hands. Like, when that's your dude, is your number one. Or there's Mooney, but he hasn't got involved at all. Komet hasn't got. I mean, yeah, Fields is set up to struggle. So Packers did what they had to do. Not much has changed in this one. That's how the game should have won.
Pretty boring game Sunday night, Tyler, but that was fine because I was pretty tired at that point. Anything that I missed while I fell asleep before halftime?
No, I mean, Aaron Jones touched the ball a bunch. That's what they said they were going to do. He scored 2 touchdowns. The defense looked great, but it was also against Chicago. So, and Fields did start to use his legs a little bit more. I like seeing that because he's got to open up this offense somehow. But again, just like Title said, when you got a wide receiver core of a bunch of 4 stringers and Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet, you're not really opening up much for guys that can't get open. So it's the Bears we're talking about. Yeah. They're going to win like 3 games. They're going to surprise us in the ones they win. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it definitely too bad. Let's jump into tonight. The Buffalo Bills are laying 10 points to the Tennessee Titans. Another primetime game, another 10-point spread. But we're not fading the Chicago Bears here, right? When we're laying 10, we're fading the Tennessee Titans, who have been a really good team these last 3 years, have actually beat the Bills the last 3 times they played. Here's the problem. After watching week 1, do you want to get in front of Josh Allen and these Bills? My numbers are going to tell me to take the Titans. I haven't done it yet. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, same thoughts here. Like, Man, 10, like how can you lay 10 with the Bills, but how can I back the Titans against Josh Allen? Like they're going to score points. Can Tennessee move the ball and score points? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you can get. I like the over a little bit. What opened at 51. Now I see like 47.5 or something. I mean, the Bills themselves can put up 35 or something like that. So I lean the over if I have to pick a side. Man, 10's a lot, but I ain't betting against Josh Allen and put my money on the Titans. So I think over is my favorite way to approach the game for betting.
This is a tough game, Tyler. I'll tell you what, normally we would be all over the Titans here, but it's tough to get in front of Josh Allen. How are you approaching it?
Give me the Titans here, spread. I ain't scared of Josh Allen. They're missing that Oliver in the middle. Derrick Henry's going to go right up that gut and just run for probably 150 yards. Okay. Maybe not exactly 150, but I think he eclipses 100. Probably gets in the end zone once or twice, which opens up a little bit of the pass game for Tannehill and should help him from what he had last week, which was absolutely terrible. Hiller's not in there. He didn't take many carries away from Henry, but now Henry has to get all the work. So definitely like him over his yards at 87.5. And I think this game has like a 31-27 final written all over it. Like I think Tennessee keeps it close enough. It's like almost like a rivalry game. These two teams have banged around with each other the last few years, with both of them being quote unquote Super Bowl contenders. And now Buffalo's a clear-cut Super Bowl contender, but Tennessee's on their way down. But I still think they keep this game close with the defense being tough. Buffalo's corners also aren't the best right now without White in there. And if the pass rush can't get the Tannehill, what else do they really have on that defensive side? So give me Tennessee plus 10. Give me their kicker over 1.5 field goals at plus 140. That's becoming my favorite bet in these games, is just taking the kicker's field goals over. Because you got these teams like them, they could drive it down, and if Henry can't punch it in, they're probably going to settle for 3. So over 1.5 at plus 140, I like that.
That's a great prop. So Tyler mentioned Derrick Henry, liking him a lot. Title, he's at 7,800. Another big name player at 7,800 is Josh Allen. What's your approach to this slate tonight, especially when we're looking at this Tennessee and Buffalo game?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I have not looked at it yet. I have the MLB show, and then I'm going to dive in after.
Okay.
So I mean, looking at the quarterbacks, though, you have Josh Allen at 7.8. You have Hurts at 7.1. Those are going to be the two chalkiest quarterbacks. Probably people are going to take the savings from Hurts a little bit. I'm good jamming in Josh Allen. We know the upside there. But you look at it, Derrick Henry's going to get ownership, I think. He's on 7.8K. You got Dalvin at 8K, so you get $200 savings there. He's going to touch the ball that much. I don't know. Do I really want to play? I don't know. If he's going to be chalked, do I want to play a 10-point dog, Derrick Henry, where if Vegas is right or Buffalo's up 14-21 in the second half in the fourth quarter, like is Derrick Henry really going to be out there? I don't know. And if he's going to be chalked, so I probably will go not too much Derrick Henry. Again, I'm talking out loud. I have not built lineups and stuff like that. I mean, I do know what I do want to play, and that's Justin Jefferson, and he's expensive. So if I'm playing him, that means I can't spend up everywhere. So maybe I'll go down a little bit at running back. Maybe Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. Zach Moss is standing out to me. He's probably going to be low owned. They liked him in week 1. I mean, when James Cook lost that fumble, he was in the doghouse. It looked like he didn't touch the ball much. Zach Moss looked good. They look to ride the hot hand. He can get the goal line carries. So Zach Moss at 4.3K, 3.5K savings off of Derrick Henry. He's the running back that I have the most interest in this game when ownership is included, because I do think Henry gets some steam.
Tyler, our guy Flash coming to him from his boardroom. He's talking about a plus 16 and an over 41 teaser. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, with the way I picture this game going, I think both of those hit, so I don't hate it. I just normally don't do the teasers with the sides and the totals in the same game. I usually just take two sides from two different games.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you'll have an opportunity in this next game.
Doesn't this rub you as kind of a game, too, where, like, Tennessee gets out to, like, a 10-0 lead, and then, like, Buffalo has a couple drives where they stall out, and then all of a sudden in the second half they kind of get their feet under them before they take the lead in the end and win it?
I'm a big Josh Allen guy.
I think he's really good too, but I just think like there's going to be games this year where this team just kind of sleepwalks for most of the game.
There is no Gabe Davis too. There's no Gabe Davis, which hurts. Or he's what I saw like doubtful or something.
Yeah, it's like doubtful, maybe plays. It just keeps changing.
It didn't sound great yesterday.
Yeah,
so
if they were smart, sit them.
Yeah, they have McKenzie, Crowder. They have other guys.
Yeah.
Next game.
I'm about to say we lose spread. Oh, he lost his headphones, I think. Yeah, you want to jump right into that Minnesota Philly game? You want to break it down first?
Yeah, man. This one's tough. I think the three, it opened at 2.5. Now it's at 3. Vikings looked great last week, so that's why I expected to see like a 1.5, a 1.5, and I wanted to be on Philly here at home. I think they're going to give Cousins a little problem. I know the big thing everyone's going to talk about the prime time Monday night, Kirk Cousins 2-9 and all that. I mean, man, with the new coach getting Justin Jefferson in space, like you got to expect upgrades from Kirk Cousins. The defense looks solid. I think this is a good football game at the end of the day. I'm going to ride Hurts. Doesn't feel great. I'm going to ride the Philly side. I do think they cover -3, over 49.5. I do lean the over as well. I think we get a fun game, and one I like to target a lot in DFS. I like this game more than the first game. If we're talking about like if I maybe 3 guys in the first game, play Hurts, play AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson. If you can fit those guys in your lineups, that's why Zach Moss I do like, because I see both these dudes going nuclear today. I mean, grown men absolutely going to go off today, I think. So I like this game for DFS more. I lean the over. I lean Philly. Not the strongest of leans, though. I'm excited to hear what you got to say because it's a tough one.
What do you got, Tyler?
I'm
back.
Philly. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm on Philly.
I already knew this.
I mean, just like Title said, primetime Kirk 2-9. Those 2 wins against Chicago. Take that for what it is. It's the Bears. If you look at his stats in Monday night games, his last 5 of his last 6, he's throwing a pick in all of them. I'm definitely betting his over half an interception at -108. This Philly defense, mind you, Justin Jefferson can't be covered by anybody in the NFL probably. But what they did last week against Green Bay, they kept motioning him around the field to where they kind of kept him away from Jari Alexander. Well, when you motion him from left to right against Philly, you're taking him away from Darius Slay and giving him to James Bradbury. You move him into the slot. He's getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Like, I know he's not coverable, but like these aren't linebackers chasing him down the field. This isn't Preston Smith. Like, he's not going to be running with 15 yards of separation where it's like no one's there.
You saw what he did to Jair on that one route, though?
Oh, he'll have his numbers, but I don't think he does what he did to Green Bay because he's not going to get the linebackers in coverage. Kirk isn't going to have the time he had. Yeah. Like, this Philly team's going to put the pressure on him. And they might also just take the route on offense where they're just like, we're going to pound it down your throat, and you're going to eat this run game, and we're going to hold the ball for 8 minutes, and you're not getting any offense. So I like Philly here. I think they're the better team. Kirk's in his worst spot. Give me Philly.
Yeah, aside from that Kirk Cousins stat, which I'm sure you guys will all hear, and first of all, I'm not a tape guru. I got this from listening to PFF, but they were talking about the matchup that Jordan Davis is going to have with the inside of this line and how basically the Philadelphia
he's going to be the reason Kirk throws his interception because he's going to get in there and he's going to panic.
Yeah, they're going to have such an advantage matchup going against this Minnesota offensive line. They're going to be. You guys
like Dalvin way more than Derrick Henry, or excuse me, Derrick Henry way more than Dalvin.
I personally do.
If
I was building a lineup, I'd be taking Henry.
I like him more as well.
Well, that makes sense. You like +10 too, so that would.
I think a lot of people are going to side with the Buffalo just running up the score, and they're just going to leave Henry out of there because they think he's just going to get benched.
Yeah, I mean they're both going to be owned because you look at it. Dalvin's 8K, Derrick Henry 7.8. The next running back you go to is Madison at 5.6. It would be Miles Sanders at 5.5, but people are going to want to get at least one of those. So. Yeah, I agree. I think it is Henry over Dalvin. And the ownership probably similar, maybe more Dalvin. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia is going to win this game up front. I love their offensive line too. They've done a real good job of establishing things in the trenches. And then, of course, they gave the quarterback, a young quarterback that's not right at like a Mahomes or an Allen. Even the Allen, they did bring in Diggs, right? But they did the same thing. They brought in A.J. Brown. The guy's an absolute stud. It's kind of funny that Tennessee's going to be missing him tonight because Tannehill hasn't looked the same since he hasn't been in the lineup with them.
Unleash Traylon Burks for me one time.
He's been injured all camp, though. I think he'll end up being good. But
outside of that kicker prop, my other favorite prop, well, of course, the Kirk Cousins interception. But
I just bet that while we were talking.
This Kyle Phillips guy that plays wide receiver for Tennessee, I think he drives UPS on his off days.
Yeah,
great company to work for, by the way.
Got 9 targets week 1. His receiving yards is 29.5. I'm probably just going to auto bet that and hope he gets around them same targets.
So you're telling me I get to bet on a UPS driver tonight?
Yeah,
my old friends. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Man, I didn't have that much. I like the Philly side. I didn't like a lot in that other game, and now you're giving me a bunch of bets. And Title, we've done this on time. We're trying to be quicker today with the review because we know you do have to get to the baseball. Are you going to have a core up for tonight, though?
I will. I'll have a 2-game core, FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo on the site. So excited for it. I'll be diving in, like I said, baseball right after this show. Get my baseball stuff in, and then I'll have a core on the site. It'll be a little closer to lock, probably like 45 minutes before, but it'll be up.
That's right. And if you do want access to that core and you're not a member, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use the promo code NFL15. If you're already a member and you already have access to the core, but you want to see the rest of the props that Tyler has found, you want to see the NFL playbook going into week 3, will be updated tomorrow. Use that promo code GetBets. That's right. It's all going down over at runpuresports.com. We made it through overreaction week. Oh, I'm so fired up, man. I mean, just getting punched in the gut all day yesterday. The Raiders absolutely suck. But you guys helped talk me off the ledge. Not really. I mean, McDaniel still kind of sucks. Derek Carr's still a quarterback. But I appreciate you guys trying. Title, any more word for the people before you go kind of jump in the phone booth, switch the costume, and come out as a Major League Baseball expert?
Hey, you could always be in Tyler's shoes and have to cheer for these Steelers, spread. It always can be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
I'd rather be a Steelers fan. At least you have
he has a man crush on Mike.
I was going to say, when you get on your knees
and now
for
we
the head
have
coach.
Brian Flores. So basically, I got like Billy Badass and Billy Badass Jr. as my coaches. Like, that's awesome.
What do you need? You need Mike Tomlin. You need Jimmy G. Who else do you need? You need Emmett Smith.
Exactly.
What's
no, I was never an Emmett guy. I was never.
Barry Sanders.
Yep. Barry. I'm a Barry guy.
Herman Brown. What else do you need?
Herman Brown. That's a good blast from the past right there. That's some NFC North knowledge right there. Tyler, give us some words of wisdom here. Maybe tell us how everyone's excited in Pittsburgh about Kenny Pickett.
Well, I mean, I don't got many words of wisdom on Kenny Pickett because out of all the people high in Pittsburgh, I'm probably the one guy that's like, I don't want him here. So
really?
Yeah, I don't think I never thought he was all that good in college. He played 4 years. This was my statement I go to with this. He played 4 years before that 5th year he played as a senior. The 5th year was the only year he showed like giant steps ahead. 4 years straight of subpar play. And then your 5th year, you get a soft schedule and you put up all these crazy numbers. I don't really buy it. So until he proves me wrong in the NFL spread, I don't think he's all that good.
Well, it wouldn't be a NFL show here on Run Pure Sports without me getting Tyler outcasted at his local grocery stores. For all the people who watch.
Before we get off spread, NBA is right around the corner. All you do is pick winners for the finals. Who's shipping this year? The Bucks? Bucks going to be healthy finally, the big 3, and Giannis is still different, or what's your pick?
I can't answer that yet.
I can tell you who it's going to be.
Because I got to keep my streak intact. I'm protecting.
It's going to be the one that no one picked. Brooklyn.
Wow.
It's going to be the revenge tour. They're going to be like, everybody wrote us off, this and that. We had all stuff going on internally. And then they'll hoist the trophy at the end of the year like nothing happened.
I mean,
we all sat here and watched their odds go from 7-1 to 25-1 when all the trade rumors came out, down to 16-1 when they were like, all right, we'll keep Kyrie, back down to 7-1 when they had not the same roster, but they bring the 2 superstars back and put better pieces around him. So that's my.
I did not expect that. I did not expect that one. I'm gonna ride with the Bucks, man. Giannis is different. They're gonna be healthy. Spread. I'm waiting for it though, but yeah, hey, on a streak like that, you can't just say you have to do some research. So I mean,
it must be feel so good, right? Can you imagine me? You were in for the Bucks and the Packers, and I'm over here rooting for the Kings and the Raiders. I don't know.
He roots for a quarterback that chokes in the playoffs all the time.
Hey, he's got one. he's got his. That's all I need.
I mean. My old quarterback that's retired now had 2. So
yeah, that's true.
My quarterback now
he has an
MVP. Yours doesn't have that.
How many do you think Rodgers would have got under Tomlin? 5, 6. Tom Brady might not even
be a legend. That when you draft,
I don't think it would have worked. Spread.
Why? When you draft Jordan Love in the first round too, when you're right there,
I don't think that works.
Oh, Tomlin would get him going. Tomlin would have driven out to the desert before he dropped that stuff and said, "You don't do drugs on my team."
If Mike McCarthy and Rodgers working with anybody.
I think Rodgers just runs his own show, though. I think Tomlin wouldn't have that, and that's
LaFleur does more than LaFleur and Rodgers. Rodgers doesn't do it as much with. He had to with McCarthy. like what? When McCarthy's doing all of his dumbass stuff, like Ron, he ain't letting that fly. He's like, no, I'm doing.
We're doing this.
Yeah.
Can you believe McCarthy's got a better record than my team right now? Unbelievable. If you told me I cannot believe this. Oh, man. Let me go wallow in my Raiders misery, and we'll be back. So the rest of the schedule, title comes on now in 7 minutes. We got to give him some time. But Tyler and I will be back with the show that, hey, if we're really getting some momentum there, bringing on Kurt on Fridays. We'll be picking the winners on Friday, and that's a lot of fun. Remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use that promo code NFL15. Be back for baseball in 5 minutes. Run Pure.